Sometimes it seems like the noise around us never quiets down. Welcome to 10 Better Minutes, a place for calm, thoughtful stories from the world as it really is. This podcast shares a handful of recent moments that offer perspective without ignoring the harder parts of life. Today, we will hear about a few people stepping up in quiet ways. From a family finding new support after loss, to someone giving a second chance to a small creature in need. But first, let's begin with a simple story about a man who turned his pain into something that lifts up his neighborhood. After John Jack Burnett lost his wife Patricia, he spent about a year feeling stuck, like his hands belonged to someone else. You know that kind of quiet grief, when the days keep moving but you cannot quite follow them. He lived on Norwood Avenue in Warwick, Rhode Island, and for a while he simply did not want to do anything at all. Then, slowly, he started to notice the things people put out at the curb: broken lawn equipment, old patio furniture, the stuff that looks like it is finished but is really just waiting. When he could, he picked items up around the neighborhood and brought them back with sanding, painting, repairing, and a careful kind of patience. Soon, his front lawn became a little display of second chances, with a hand-painted sign that included his phone number. He kept his prices low, not because it was easy, but because life had gotten more expensive for everyone. And sometimes, if someone truly could not afford what they needed, he would give an item away. What surprised him most was the way the hobby turned into a mission. Neighbors stopped by just to talk. People offered scrap metal. Others donated items. After a customer shared his story on Facebook, the calls and messages kept coming, like the community had been waiting for a reason to step closer. Grief did not disappear, but purpose did return. And in a small, hopeful way, restored things kept showing up, one conversation at a time. Sometimes the day on the road goes sideways in the smallest, most vulnerable way, and the quiet kindness that follows can change everything. At the time, Wisconsin trooper Brody Schmitz was helping a motorist near a ramp up to I-90. While he worked, someone at the scene reported seeing kittens thrown from a moving vehicle, and one kitten had ended up needing help right away. Schmitz did not wait for things to settle. He took the kitten to a nearby animal shelter while he handled his duties, and he made it clear to the staff that he wanted to adopt him. That choice mattered because time can be everything for an animal that has been suddenly separated from safety. Soon, the shelter welcomed the tuxedo kitten, and Schmitz met him where he was, calm enough to trust a new set of hands. When the process was complete, the trooper brought Toby home, giving him a warm place to rest, a steady routine, and the kind of attention that helps fear fade into familiarity. What stays with me is how quickly compassion can turn a frightening report into a hopeful future. One concerned call, one shelter visit, and one steady commitment became a partnership. Toby and Brody did not just survive that moment, they grew from it. It is rare to see a quiet conservation story carry real numbers with it, and this one offers a gentle kind of hope, grounded in what people on the water and researchers are now documenting. During the 2026 North Atlantic right whale calving season, scientists documented 23 right whale calves, the highest total since 2009. That detail matters, not just for its rarity, but for what it suggests about whether mothers are coming back to calve again. Out of 23 identified mom and calf pairs, 20 involved returning moms, many had not been seen with a calf for years, with 13 of those returning mothers last having calves in 2021 or 2022. Researchers also reported that the typical spacing between calving events is beginning to move toward a healthier range, closer to about 3 to 4 years, rather than the longer intervals that have sometimes shown how uncertain recovery can be. There was also movement in the broader picture of sightings. NOAA reported 500 sightings of 129 whales migrating southward, a 29% increase compared with the previous year. Some of those sightings came from civilians on civilian boats, sending safe public reports that help researchers track where whales are and how they are changing over time. If you listen closely, the story is not about triumph, but about time. It is about returns, patterns tightening, and the steady way careful protection can make room for new life. After a parent or caregiver dies, the world keeps moving, but support should not be hard to find. This story from Utah shows how small changes in paperwork and outreach can make sure bereaved children get connected sooner. In 2020, Ashlyn Stone was dealing with the aftermath of a fatal car accident in Kaysville, Utah, when her partner Hayden Hansen died on the way to the hospital. She said she and her children did not get approached with clear guidance, and she was even told they were not eligible for Social Security survivor benefits because she had not been married to Hayden at the time. Feeling stuck and unsure where to turn, she learned the hard way how much access can depend on whether systems know what is happening. Then, in 2023, Utah leaders and nonprofits began adjusting how families get identified. On July 25, 2023, Governor Spencer Cox issued an executive order recommending a voluntary checkbox on death certificates, specifically to note whether the deceased had minor children. Around the same time, Granite School District added a question to back-to-school forms asking if a student has lost a parent or caregiver. Utah also recommended allocating $400,000 to support the Utah Department of Health and Human Services and the Two Shunem One Service Navigator program, helping families apply for benefits and locate grief support. Nate Winters with the Utah Department of Health and Human Services said, Utah averages about 1,000 checked boxes in years, with full data. The hope is that this information leads to timely benefits, grief counseling, and connections to practical needs like housing and food, so no child has to wait to be found. There is something quietly reassuring about watching people slow down, test new ideas, and protect what matters to health and habitat. This episode moves through many corners of life, but it keeps landing on the same theme: practical hope. Sir David Attenborough marks his 100th birthday with a simple secret: exactly 10 minutes of sitting somewhere in nature and waiting. He describes it like a practice, not a performance. And that patience echoes across the rest of the roundup, where solutions are built step by step, from everyday habits to careful laboratory work. One study points out how easy it is to miss health basics on the road, with only about 1 in 20 cruise ship passengers maintaining proper hand hygiene. At the same time, reform efforts are expanding access to free prison calls, so contact can be steadier and less stressful. Even small changes matter when time feels tight. Then the science turns hopeful. Researchers at the University of Helsinki report 2 drug molecules that achieved myelin repair in multiple sclerosis disease models, in cells and in animals. They are not yet in human trials, but they offer a clearer direction for future clinical work. In materials science, another bright result appears. A hemp-derived polycarbonate from CBD stretches up to 1,600% and remains hard and dry in boiling water, suggesting a more durable, lower-impact alternative. And in Papua New Guinea, a large no-fishing zone in Melanesia is announced, guided by shark tracking data, with the goal of protecting ecosystems and supporting nearby fisheries through spillover. It is a lot of ground covered, but the feeling stays gentle. Whether it is 10 minutes outside or months in a lab, progress often begins with showing up thoughtfully for what comes next. As always, I have a simple tip for you to help with your mental reset and to find more steadiness in your day. Today, we are talking about something quiet but powerful. Noticing what part of the world still feels good and worth protecting. Take a moment and think beyond big headlines. Where does your heart unclench? Maybe it is a small park path you walk without rushing, a neighborhood tree line that turns gold in the fall, a lake where the air smells clean after rain, or the way a community center keeps showing up for people. It might even be an idea like fairness in how you treat others, or safety you feel when someone is kind and consistent. Now here's the practical part. Pick one of those good places and make it specific. What do you value about it? Is it beauty, belonging, clean water, quiet, or the chance to grow? When you can name it, you can protect it in real life. Volunteer 1 hour, pick up litter on your route, support a local fundraiser, write a short note to the person or group caring for it, or choose one habit that reduces waste. You do not have to fix everything. Just care clearly about something that still feels worth it. Alright, we have reached the end of this episode of 10 Better Minutes, and I just want to thank you for spending a few minutes with me. If you have been feeling worn down by the nonstop headlines, I hope this left you with something steadier to hold on to. The quiet truth that people still show up for each other in practical, ordinary ways. Goodness is not a fantasy. It is just harder to notice when the volume is turned all the way up. So take a breath, carry that with you, and come back when you can. This is Ian Rhodes with 10 Better Minutes. Take care, and I will see you tomorrow.